The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
1420 Sports Bar Podcast. For beer, the sports talk, and a whole lot more. Join host Brent Radlinsky as he bellies up to the bar and gets the conversation going that'll make you think you're sitting in your local watering room. It's sports, beer, and shenanigans. So sit back, grab a few beers, and let's get into it. The 1420 Sports Bar Podcast, for beer, sports talk, and a whole lot more for this 11th day of November 2025. Today's show, as always, brought to you by SeatGeek.com, the SeatGeek app. Use promo code Belly Up Sports over there at SeatGeek and save yourself $20 on your first purchase. Remember, we're part of the Belly Up Media Network. Go to bellyupsports.com for all their great articles and other podcasts, such as Tailgate on the Quad, one of the best there is to talk about college football. I've actually got today's show on down here. I was doing some show prep. No credentials required. Ryan's over there. And then we have the Jared and the guys over at the corner booth. And as always, make sure you give for all your sports hot takes and Steelers football. If you dislike the Cleveland Browns, Jim at Fan of the Van is the one for you. And of course, a friend of the show, Aaron over at Brutally Honest Sports. All great podcasts. Give them a listen. Before we get rolling today, obviously it is Remembrance Day or Veterans Day, but make sure you take some time to reflect if you listen to it, or you should do it every day. Thank you, lucky stars. We live in a couple of greatest countries in the world. We're allowed to do these things and say the things we want over the airwaves because of the sacrifices that men and women made many years ago in the world wars that ended 80 years ago now. So don't let it be forgotten, and don't let it whatever's going on in the political landscape of the world with the sacrifices those men and women made all those years ago is the reason why we're allowed to have the freedoms that we do. So thank you very much to all the veterans out there, and make sure you thank them and think about them on a daily basis. But anyways, I kind of had to touch on this a little bit more than I did in the past but this sports betting scandal is going to get deep. It's going to get ugly. It's going to get it's absolutely insane. A little bit of background. There was that the NBA one a few weeks back that kind of just went away, just like I kind of said it was going to. There was a little bit of talk about it when it first happened, and then nobody cares. And I was right on that account. Nobody's talking about that at all. Back in June or July, I think it was Emmanuel Class A. He got told to go home, take his ball, and go home because there was a investigation into some off-putting betting allegations. Another player, Luis Ortiz, both of the Cleveland Guardians, both relief pitchers, they were suspended indefinitely without pay for some allegations of rigging some games and doing some things unbecoming to the game of baseball. And then it came out over the weekend that so what the allegations were. It was basically a lot of them was if he's going to throw a ball or a strike at certain points of the game. And it was all prop bets that can be done right at the field in real time. Then there was going to be how fast a pitch is going to be thrown, and on it goes. And there was a number of instances where the bettors were making upwards of $600,000, $700,000 over this time frame. Class A, we'll get to the math of it in a second, but it wasn't the smartest move on Class A's behalf. I don't know what Ortiz was making at the time of his suspension, but I think it's probably more than $12,000 for the season. Bad math, but we'll talk about that in half a second. The whole thing, we talked about it with the basketball thing, how you could clank one off the rim at any point from three-point land because you had a bad night. This thing about baseball, how it can get really ugly and really quick with this prop betting, is that it would be pretty easy if you're supposed to throw a pitch over 85 miles an hour, over 90, whatever the number might have been on a certain prop bet. You shake it off and throw a changeup because you're the pitcher and you have the right to do that. Do catchers get mad and you get shaken off? Yeah, but it's just the way the game goes. And just the way this is all coming about, it gets really scary about how this could really change the game, and how, over the years, the conspiracy theories that do come out in the world of baseball and all professional sports right across the board. I remember my dad and lots of other people talking about it's rigged, it's going to go 7 games so all the money can be made. Well, now there might be some validity to this. You think about how easy it would be to mix if a guy's got a stolen base prop bet and they could say, just miss the tag at second. I'll slide around it. You miss the tag, you do this, drop a fly ball, you do this. All the little things that could happen in the game of baseball, because it's such an individualistic sport. You don't have to rely on anybody for anything to happen. Like, especially if you're a pitcher, you don't have to rely on anybody else for something to happen. If you want to strike out, pretty easy. People strike out all the time. Strikeouts are at an all-time high rate. Like how easy this would be for the game of baseball to get themselves in a heap of trouble. And I think they're at that point now because even just yesterday, as at time of this recording on the Tuesday on Monday, Major League Baseball came out and already said, well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to limit what how much you can bet on a prop bet, and they put it down to $200. So you can still make a pretty good chunk of change if you bet a lot. But if you're $200 and a 105, and I don't know how the whole thing works, I'm not going to pretend to be a master at the sports betting thing. I said master better, so you want to watch how you word that. But you just wonder how easy it is to do that. And by Major League Baseball doing that, they acknowledge that there is a problem. They acknowledge that there is a situation. They acknowledge that they have to do something because how easy it would be to have this go against them. And it's a very fine line that Major League Baseball has, because everywhere you go, there's a DraftKings logo, a BetMGM logo. It's going to be tough for a player to say, okay, Major League Baseball's got these multi-billion-dollar contracts with these betting agencies. Why can't I get mine? I'm the one. I'm the one in the game. Why can't I have some skin in this? Why can't I make this? Well, it is the rules. It's pretty simple to me. It's pretty simple. It's the rules. It's the rules. I've never been a big bettor, so it doesn't really it wouldn't cross my mind. I might put a on Sports Select. I think it's called Sports Select, but it's legal gambling here in Canada, where you go down to the local store and you put three teams to win, and that's it. Maybe an over under, and that's it. I've never been a big bettor. I've never sat down like on Super Bowl Sunday. I might put down some prop bets about the heads or tails or what color the Gatorade's going to be. But that's as far as it gets in my betting world. But how this has become so relevant in the world of professional sports, and now it's leaking into amateur sports. Don't for a second think that it's not. That is becoming a real situation. Major League Baseball, by making that decision yesterday to get down to a $200 on prop bets, they're acknowledging that there's a major problem coming around, and this one might get a little more juice. This one might get a little more long-term action compared to what basketball done. The basketball one went away. That was a month ago. Haven't heard a thing since. Jim still thinks that something's coming down the pipe. I don't know. But telling these guys that they can't bet on something is like throwing a kid in a candy store and telling him he can't have any chocolate. It's just sitting there in front of you. It's getting thrown in your face nonstop. Did they break the rules? Well, it's of course going to the court of law. I mean, obviously, the Class A's lawyers came out and said he's 100% innocent, and I hope he is, for the simple fact of the math of it. Rumors has it these guys were making $600,000 on $700,000 on these betting scams, and he only made $12,000. Well, he was projected to make, I think it was $5,000 this year when he got suspended, or $5 million. Sorry, $5 million this year when he got suspended, $10 million in 2026, and $10 million in 2027. Quick math there. That's $25 million for 12,000. Something doesn't make sense here. Something doesn't make sense, because nobody in their right mind is that stupid to give up $25 million for 12 grand. Like I said, I don't know what Ortiz's deals were. I didn't look it up. It's not really my style to get to the to do a whole bunch of research. The most research I did was finding out what Class A was making, because I don't know and I don't care. I've never been wondering how much money guys make. It doesn't matter to me. They should make more. But for Class A to be making these deals to only make $12,000, something stinks here. Something doesn't make sense. Because why would you give up that kind of dough for $12,000? He probably has that in his ashtray. It something doesn't, like, is it organized crime behind this? And do they have something on this guy? Did they say something? If you don't make these deals with us, something's going to happen. But then you read that he was texting these guys in between innings or before games started, that he was going to end up going into the game, and he'd say, okay, I have a bet on you, fourth pitch of the eighth inning. I don't know the exacts of it, but the fourth pitch of the eighth inning, you throw a change up in the dirt that's going 82. Pretty simple to do, and no one would think anything of it. No one would think anything of it. Now, as a baseball fan, you just start thinking about all the plays. You go, oh, was there something behind this? Was there something that this guy did that there was money on it? Did that guy strike out on a pitch that was so far to the strike zone? You're like, is there something behind all this? All of a sudden, what Pete Rose did isn't half bad. And don't like I'm not a Pete Rose apologist by any means. Everybody knows my take on Pete Rose. She never got in the Hall of Fame. Really simple. He bet on his team. Did he bet on the lose? No, but he bet on his team. But he could have fixed the day before and the day after, and could have went for that day where he had money down. This pitcher sits. Because that, you know what? On Wednesday we're winning. I got 10 grand on that. We're winning on Wednesday. Other 2 days, I don't care. So that's my take on Pete Rose, for those who don't know. But now you start thinking about all these different games and different events that happen in a baseball game. That's obviously it's my favorite sport, and it's pure to me. But how easy it would be to fix these things. And for these organized crimes, like that's with the NBA, I'm not saying the MLB one is organized crime, but it's got to be something where they're saying, listen, you do this or else. Is there a mob tie? Is this Goodfellas stuff? You know, is this something we're going to kill your family if you don't make us 700 grand? And over and over. And if you don't get caught, then great. No harm, no foul. People strike out all the time. You wouldn't think anything of it. But now with the way that this has all come about, you start thinking about it a lot. And you start thinking about different things. Like how does Major League Baseball security, internal, external, like all of it, how does the FBI get involved? Because all of a sudden there's so much money to be made in this business of sports betting. And with winning, like, let's not forget, winning baseball games makes you a lot of money. So now how do the owners and the GMs and the teams, and how do they get in front of these players doing this? Because obviously it's not that hard to do. If they're got their phones in their pocket out in the bullpen, is that where it stops first? But how do you tell a grown man who's making $25 million they can't have their phone in their pocket? I guess you just make a rule. And there's rules because of things like this. There was never rules in when you're driving down the highway, because when the car was first invented, there was never speed limit rules. They only made speed limit rules because people started being idiots and killing other people. So they had to implement rules. And I'm not comparing betting on a baseball game to someone getting killed in a motor vehicle accident, but that's why there's rules. Rules are rules because people got stupid. So is that just one simple way that this can get fixed? Is that one simple way that you don't have this sports betting? These guys have to know what their prop bets are going into a game. They're not all, but a fringe guy. You think about it, like these minor league guys, they don't make much money, right? We've talked about this before. Like, they're not making any money. So to get approached in a bar after a game by some guy, by Jimmy the Hook or whoever, to say, hey, you're pitching tomorrow. Hey, good, you're up in the big leagues. This guy might be up for it. He like, these guys know they want to be up for a long time. These guys know sometimes their roster spots, it's just a injury replacement. They know they're up for an outing and they're back down tomorrow. For this guy to make an extra 10 grand, 5 grand, that'll go a long ways in the off season. It's one pitch, right? No big deal. It's one pitch. Doesn't hurt. Doesn't change the game, but it does. One pitch can change a baseball game, as we saw in the World Series just passed. This is a slippery slope that baseball has, and I don't know where it stops and what they could possibly do. There's so, because they're in so deep with these betting apps, and every team in every league, hockey's bad for. Like, I was watching a couple of games last night. No, it's everywhere, and you know what? I'll say, like, everywhere you go, everybody's doing it. And I don't know a bunch of people that bet. Usually people who bet a lot, they don't talk about it because they don't like talking about how much they lost, because the house always wins. There's you might make a few bucks here and there, but it's everywhere. And I think football, it's like they're flashing things on the screen nonstop, and they're flashing in hockey, plus 105, plus 150, but minus 190, okay, blah, blah, blah. Most people don't know what that even means, but there must be a business for it. It's infiltrated the sports world. But I don't know if the sports leagues did their research prior to this, knowing how bad it could get. How they wouldn't know is a bit of a mystery. 1919 was a long time ago with the Black Sox. That's a real long time ago. That's even before I was born. So gambling isn't new. Rigging games isn't new. Fixing things isn't new. But did they think it was going to get to this level? And do they care? Do they care? Guy gets pinched here, guy gets pinched there. A couple of years back, some players got bust. I remember that 2024, I think it was, and they got suspended for life. But they're fringe guys. Who cares? Somebody will always come in to fill the spot. And there'll always be dumb people. There'll always be guys who want to buck the system and find a way to make a few bucks. Is it bad math? Yeah. 25 million compared to 12 grand. That's why something just doesn't make sense. Nobody's that dumb. Nobody could be that stupid where they would 25 plus all your bonuses and plus your lifestyle for $12,000. You know, me and Deanna were talking last night about like if it's a fringe player, like we just discussed. You know, some guy just comes up, all right, makes an extra 12 grand compared to the 40 grand he was going to make in his minor league deal. You could get it. It'd be understood. You know, you go back to some like when the steroid thing was happening and the PEDs and everything, and like when it was on it, and we're talking about Clemens and Bonds going to the Hall of Fame the other morning. But this is kind of comparison. You know, if a guy's in the minor leagues forever, not making any money, and then all of a sudden he always says, you know what? I got nothing to lose. I've been playing the minor leagues for 6-7 years. I got one chance. Maybe I'll poke a needle in my butt, take a pill, whatever. My batting average goes up. My WAR goes up. My home run power goes up. I might get one contract if I do it. Got nothing to lose. He plays 7 years in the minor leagues. Nothing to lose. That actually makes a lot more sense than this gambling thing. But it's the same comparison. This guy, he gets caught. He goes, well, I gave it a shot. Wasn't going anywhere anyways. I just give her one last good old college try. Poke a needle in my rear end, put on some pounds, put on some muscle. All of a sudden, I'm hitting 295 with 30 home runs. Might get a contract. If it doesn't work, if I get caught, or if I'm just not as good as I thought I was done anyways. Go open up some baseball academy in the middle of Arkansas, or baseball camp, or whatever. So you get it. It's the same comparison. If a guy is just not making any money and he needs something, a way to live, it'd be easy to do. You know, you're not making the bet yourself. And I one way to maybe succumb this a little bit and maybe drop things down a little bit is let guys bet on sports. Let guys have an app. You know, as long as you're not betting on your own team, as long as you're not making and have complete transparency. I know then guys will have burner phones and burner email accounts, but it take a lot of effort. But maybe open it up and say, okay, yeah, if you want to, if you play for if you play for the Dodgers and you want to make a bet, you're sitting around in the locker room, you don't play until 7:00 Pacific time. It's 10:00 out in like the games, you're sitting there watching the Yankees. If you want to make a bet that the Yankees are going to beat the Mets, why not? Not hurting anything. Let them do it. Maybe that will curb it a little bit, where guys will say, okay, well, I'm getting my fix in. Because some people like betting, some people, it's just not part of their world. But why not let them do it? Let them get the piece of the pie that way. Let them figure a way that they can make some money on this thing. Because if the league and the teams are making money, the player's like, well, I'm the product. I'm the product here, not the owner. No one knows who they are most of the time. No one knows who the GM is most of the time. I'm the product. Let me make some money off of this league-wide, because these are league-wide sponsorships. Some teams have different I know that. But let me make these deals. Or let me make a couple bets so I can make a couple bucks. And then there's some self justification for this whole betting thing that isn't going away anytime soon. This betting phenomenon is not going away anytime soon. They're all making too much money. Until then, they're not. But the players are replaceable. And that's what these guys got to understand. It's in the rules that you can't do it. So why do it? Like it's very blatant that you can't do it. But they're still doing it because they don't think these guys are indestructible, and they think that they can't be caught. And they've been told they've never been told no their whole lives, especially the higher end guys like this Class A, one of the best in the game. But someone got to him. Allegedly. Someone got in his back pocket somehow, and someone got in his ear. And I don't think I want to know what made this guy give up 25 million bucks for 12,000. I don't think the world wants to know how ugly this could be, because this, like I said, this could be some Sopranos crap. So 21-7. This could be some Sopranos. This could be some Goodfellas stuff. It could be. It has to be. Those numbers are way too big for it not to be. You just wonder where it's going to go. You like this one. I think you're going to see a lot more things come out with this one compared to the basketball one. This is going to open up a whole can of worms of plays that they're looking over tape right now. Like, this doesn't make any sense. How did he miss that tag? Did he leave early? Did he just strike out on a pitch that was never in the strike zone? Shaking off a 0-2 fastball when the guy hasn't touched him, and going to a slider or a changeup. Because a lot of these prop bets are about pitch speed, and it's easy to do. Shake the guy off, throw one in there. Yeah, change up. Yeah, signal got crossed. Oops, sorry. It's so opens up a lot of conspiracy theory thoughts and a lot of ugliness that could come out through this in the sports world that we'll hopefully never know. Hopefully it's a one-off, but it's not. There's no way it's a one-off. There's no way that there's just two guys. 30 teams, every team has X amount of closers, so it's just math. How many relievers are out there? Plus guys in the minor leagues, plus. 26-man rosters, 25-man rosters, whatever it is. It's going to get ridiculously stupid, and I think it's going to turn the baseball on its ear like you've never seen it before. And that's the crappy thing. Like, you had the World Series was so great and the playoffs were so great this past year, and this is going to turn an ugly eye on things. And the focus won't be on the game. And then you're going into Armageddon in 2027. So you have all this negativity hanging over baseball, then it shouldn't be. And you wonder, like with football, would it be easy to rig? Maybe for a kicker, but a kicker needs that job. But kickers miss all the time, right? For a quarterback, you can't rely on a guy making a reception. Could you underthrow him? Yeah. Like, it's easy to do, but baseball, you don't rely on other people at all. If I'm gonna go 2 for 4 today, I'm going 2 for 4 today. If I want to go 1 for 4, I can go 1 for 4. If I want to, I can go 0 for 4 and I'll strike out 4 times. No one will be none the wiser. I had a bad day. Basketball, same thing. I'm the one taking the shot. If I miss, I miss. Football and hockey, it's another story, like how you would try to rig that. And I'm sure there's guys out there doing it. I'm sure there's guys figuring how we can infiltrate these guys' back pockets. If I drop a pass, I drop a pass. What's my over-under for receptions today? 1.5? All right, I'll get there. Or I won't get there. Take the under. I guess that's one way of doing it. Can it be fixed? I don't know. I really don't know if it can be fixed. I think you have a major problem just with the simple fact that there's too much money involved for everybody. The leagues are getting paid. The sports books are making money. Who's hurt? Sports fans still watching, places are packed still. Product's not as good. We won't get into that again. But who's getting hurt? Baseball purists, sports fans, maybe. But I wouldn't have known. What do I care if Emmanuel Clase throws a 2-2 change up in the 8th inning of a Cleveland Guardians game? Doesn't hurt me any. Does it hurt the fan base? Maybe. Is it crooked? Yep. But does it hurt anybody? Fix it. I don't care. I just watch the game to watch the game. If it's you'll never know. If it wasn't reported, no one would ever know. Is it gross and ridiculous? Yeah. But it doesn't affect the way I watch a game. I might think of it a little bit more compared to what I did during the playoffs in last baseball season. It might cross my mind, conspiracy theory, and you get a little bit older, more conspiracy theories come between your ears. But you just don't know. You don't know. And that's the scary thing is how deep is this? How deep is this? I don't think it's that deep as of right now. Maybe that's the eternal optimist when it comes to the world of baseball for me. I always think that it's the grand old game in my eyes. That's always been, there's only one or two guys in the history of the game, or what, like however many, not many. Think how many baseball players there is on every team, right? Plus their minor league system, plus. So does it hurt the way I watch the game? As of right now, no. My team makes the playoffs, and I'm trying to discuss them. They like a couple of years back, they faced Clase in the playoffs. Lit him up. And he wasn't supposed to get lit up. So was he already doing it? They're talking about it's 2023, I think, that he's been implicated in some stuff. So maybe he's been doing it for a long time. Maybe it benefited my team. Maybe it did. Maybe the whole thing is benefiting everybody else's franchise except for the one he's playing on. So he's only hurting Guardians fans. So it's only hurting them. So, well, what do you do? It's not going to change the way I watch games. It'll question some things during and after that we'll talk about this for years to come, and we're still doing this when I'm 60. I'm only 51 right now. But it doesn't. It hurts its sanctity and the pureness of sport. But betting was doing that anyways. Betting was hurting the game in my eyes anyways, with all the different like flashing on the screen. Like that was hurting the game already. This just brought it to more to light. But it's the conspiracy of it that and the why that really comes into question for me. Why would a guy risk $25 million for 12 grand? That's what doesn't make sense to me, and it's odd. And if you have any way of letting me know why this would happen, send me a message at 1420sports@gmail.com. Or if you can find my Twitter account, which changes every week because they're still fighting that. But anyways, yeah, it's crazy. Doesn't change the way I watch sports, but it makes you question things a little bit. Anyways, that's the 1420 Sports Bar podcast. For Beer Sports, talking a whole lot more. We got some new merch coming up just in time for Christmas, so it'll be up on the social media accounts, more so on Facebook and Instagram, I think, because the Twitter mess that I do have. I'm still on Twitter, but I'll put it up there. But and then if you want to get hoodies and hats and shirts, the new logo will be up on them. Navy blue, I think that they're coming out in. So make sure you message me on that. Get yourself a hoodie and just in time for Christmas. Buy one for someone you love. There it is. And yeah, it's going to be all over the place. Make sure you spread the good word of the 1420 Sports Bar podcast. SeatGeek.com. Make sure you go to Belly Up or use promo code Belly Up Sports over there at SeatGeek. And yeah, enjoy the show. Hope you guys enjoy the show. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, and the 1420 Sports Bar podcast YouTube channel. Also, we're going to later on this week, we're going to do a deeper dive in the what if. There was just a teaser about what if, so I got some guests lined up to do the what if about Derek Jeter. And then we'll kind of do that once a week, probably on Thursday nights. Do a what if is how that's all going to roll about. So make sure it's going to be a fun conversation. Anyways, that's the 1420 Sports Bar podcast. For Beer with Sports Talk and a whole lot more. 40th Remembrance Day. Tip your hat. 1420. Tip the cap. 12 veterans. All people who served and sacrificed their lives so we can talk about crazy crap here online and not worry about it. So free world because of them. Anyways, that's it for the show. Remember, everybody, it doesn't matter where you are. It's who you're with. Have yourselves a great week, and thanks for tuning into the 1420 Sports Bar Podcast. For Beer and Sports Talk and a whole lot more, brought to you by SeatGeek. Go to bellyupsports.com for the best of sports articles and podcasts. Subscribe to the YouTube channel or wherever it is you get your podcast. Let's get in.